Traditional hockey training gave me lasting pains in my hip flexors and my groin to the point where I could barely walk 2 years ago. Here are 3 hip exercises that got me out of pain and also performing just like an elite NHLer. The first movement is any type of hip flexor lift, whether that's with a free weight, a low cable pull-in reverse squat, or even a hanging low ab gar hammer raise. These exact exercises are what I started out with because without a good foundation, it's very hard to lengthen and strengthen an area where you have no neuromuscular control. Number 2 is the ATG split squat. If you take a look at this back leg here, you'll see I have it off the ground. What that does is it actually really lengthens out the hip flexor in addition to getting stimulus to the front knee, the ankle, the back glute, and even the low back. Number 3 is a seated good morning. This replicates the posterior part of a skating stride, training and lengthening your glutes, adductors, and especially your low back. This also allows for blood flow to your hip flexors by compressing them when you tilt over. If you're a hockey player with those same hip injuries that I had and you need help, reach out to me, give me a follow for more hockey hacks. So training the hips is something I'm deeply passionate about, and I really believe, and I see it now, that every single hockey player has to train their hips. Otherwise, like, what the heck are you doing with your training? Like, it's a given that you're going to get hip problems with, playing hockey, because I was one of the same players. And I think that's really what held me back from expressing what I could have been as a player. But now I get to teach that and help other players out so that, 1, they don't make the same mistakes as me, and 2, they could reach their own goals, and 3, I'm going along this route as a coach so that I can get this across to the most players possible, because I care about that a lot more than I care about playing at the moment. So I'll just tell you what I started out with when I was healing up my hips, especially my hip flexor and my groin on this right side. Both of them were, let's just say, screwed up. But this right side especially was where I had like a groin problem in my first year of junior hockey that I went to physical therapy for. And then later on, during middle of COVID, where everything was shut down and the world changed, when I was basically managed to get on the ice for 6 hours a day, when things started to open back up, that was the time when I hurt myself and I literally couldn't walk. I was, limping just from something being wrong up here that I had no idea what it was. So what I did, in addition to switching over my training to ATG, was I added these free weight hip flexor lifts, basically at least 3 times a week. I don't remember exactly what I did, but if I did more, it would have been every day 3 sets of 20, building that up slowly to roughly 10 to 12.5% of my body weight for 3 sets of 20 reps. And this is still a viable option. And at the time, I had nothing else to work with. And I definitely didn't have the grip strength for a gar hammer raise. So this is really what accelerated the changes for me and set up the foundation for my hips to then get a lot more lengthened with the split squat and the seated good morning. Now, I'm not going to show this today. I'll just edit in some videos on this. The reverse squat, the low cable pull-in, is one of my favorite exercises that first got introduced to me by ATG, because that was really a if the hip flexors were like the starting point for my hips getting, a lot more like feeling good and that I can actually perform a lot better, the low cable pull-in, integrating the rest of my lower abdomen, that was really what changed my hips and the rest of my lower body to feeling a lot better. Now it's a lot harder to set up, so often a better alternative, which this still works the lower abdomen, is this little hanging ab gar hammer raise. You can do it with these straps right here, and you basically want to get the knees to the elbows at the very least, and you don't want to go below 90 degrees because there's no tension right here. And if you do go below 90 degrees and try to pull it up, you see I end up swinging quite a bit. But if you keep everything locked up right here, you'll see that I actually end up not swinging. So that's the cool thing about this. There's not too many like machines or things that are set up in the gym and in traditional gyms that really take care of this as well as they should. But this is really like what helped out. Let's say set up that short range, set up that blood flow, that mind muscle connection for my hips, and just get all that healing into that area. Because if I just jumped straight into the split squat and the seated good morning, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably wouldn't have made as much progress as I have. And like when I started out the split squat flat ground, and I'll show some videos on this, you'll see that you would have seen that my back foot would have rolled over like that. That would mean that my hips are like way too tight to handle that, or there's not the neuromuscular control there, and it's not as developed there, or it's not ready for a longer length position like that. So I remember my first month or so, I had to actually elevate my front foot, especially on this right side with the right leg being back, because it was just too much of a stretch to handle. It hurt too much. So that's when I implemented more of the hip flexor lifts. Now, when I did get the hips feeling a lot better and to the point where they could handle this on both sides, I started to really get into perfecting the split squat and getting it a lot stronger. This is probably the world's greatest stretch, strength, and exercise that is out there, just because there's so many different elements. People often use this or associate this with the knees, and for good reason. If your knee's going way, way over your toe, full knee bend, hamstring covering the calf, back leg stays on its toes so that you get the stretch through the hip flexor and the low back. I had to pause there because, well, that's what happens when you record in a crowded gym. But basically, like the split squat, after you've set up the foundation with doing all this hip flexor lifts, gar hammer, reverse squat, just so you want that foundation so that you can then lengthen a little bit afterwards. I had to do split squats a lot less because of that reason, and then I could get into the rest of it, and now I'm at the point where I could do the front splits on both sides. Like I just worked that area. That's not a problem for me. This was the side that I injured myself on. Is it a perfect flat ground front split? No. But is it a lot better than what it was when I was about like 2 years old? Absolutely. Am I performing a lot better with my sport? Oh, heck yes. All right, on to the third one real quick so I don't get in trouble. A little seated good morning. What I like about this, you get basically all of your hips involved. So you get your groin, your adductors lengthened and stronger. You get your glutes lengthened and stronger. You get your low back, and you actually get a little bit of your hip flexor in this too, with getting it compressed. So by getting a good quality of repetitions on this, you can actually compress the area and stimulate blood flow to basically your entire hip area. So this is a real game changer for the hips, and especially for hockey players. Like this is super, super important. It is basically directly correlated with skating speed. In my opinion, in the combines, they should really be testing this in addition to the split squat, but I don't control the combine, so I don't have a proper opinion on that yet. But really, you get to master those 3 exercises. The hip flexor lifts, anything with 20 reps, you'll be good with. If you're doing a free weight version, 12.5% of your body weight, 3 sets of 20. If you're doing the reverse squat, at the very least, 50% of your body weight, 20 reps, 3 sets. I would like to see people or players work up to 75% of their body weight, which is what I can do, 3 sets of 20 reps. On the split squat, I would like to see players do about 100% of their body weight for 3 to 5 reps, which is what I can do. And on the seated good morning, 100% of their body weight for 10 reps. I'm not at that point. I'm only at like 160, but I'm well on my way to getting it out there. So again, if I had to boil things down to 3 exercises, that would be the big 3. So if you're in hip pain, reach out to me. I'll be sure to help you out, and especially if you're a hockey player. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.